According to updates, okay, 21 people were arrested for that Yoruba side. Because these people, they be the people where be say they want their own nation. You know, say they say when Peking go they cry, they go they look one side, they look one side. You say, waiting there the way that they look. In my opinion, Nigeria too big. Where be say one person go they handle. That is my opinion. Secondly, why be say for the same country where be say they want one Nigeria, the Igbos they have been asking for their freedom. As if it's not enough, the Yorubas, they are asking some of the Yorubas, okay, also some of the Igbos. So for those of you who never see that video, Mona leave una comments as usual because it gets help where they did. You understand? It help people. Other people they read your comment, they learn things from it. So now there is a question: where are we going from here?
Some men dressed in military like camouflage, armed with pump-action semi-automatic rifles riding on motorcycles, were sighted moving from Olomi area into the main city of Ibadan. At about 0915 hours, the hoodlums, later known as Yoruba Nation Agitation Group, were trailed to the state secretariat, spreading from the flyover in the front of the secretariat to within the premises of the governor's office, and hoisted their flag at the House of Assembly, proclaiming the creation of a democratic republic of the Yoruba.
The police describes last Saturday's invasion as a security breach while urging parents and guardians to warn their wards against being used by unpatriotic individuals to promote anarchy in the land.
While declaring this act as criminal, unpatriotic, and a clear case of treasonable felony and terrorism, to be met with adequate sanctions through purposeful prosecutions, the command reassures the good people of Oyo State that it remains solidly unwavering to the protection of their lives and property as constitutionally required by the laws of the land.
A summary of recorded arms from the suspects include one English pump action, 2 locally made barrel guns, 2 security jackets, generating sets and gas cylinders, among other items. Some of the suspects spoke with Arise News on the allegations.
Come again.
Can you give us some more news?
That's the leader. Sir, the world leader. On that Saturday, what do you people went there for? Is it a declaration?
To celebrate, to rejoice, to celebrate the new nation that was born.
But you went there with armed.
Please do not rope, do not say what we did not do. We did not go with any ammunition, we did not go with any weapon. Please, I stand to be corrected. We did not go there. All this uniform you see me wearing, they just gave it to me here now. They just gave it to me here now. The police just gave it to me now, by force, by force. It was not my own.
We saw some videos on that day. Some of you wore this thing.
Some of us. Did you see me there?
I wouldn't know because I wasn't there.
No. I was not part of the people that wear the uniform.
Where were you arrested?
In the front of the secretariat, the state secretariat.
What's your
State.
Okay, sir, please, you said
I'll just take it one after the other place.
Made us to go there was what they tell us.
I'm now being joined by Professor Banji Akintoye, academic, historian, writer, leader of Ilana Omo-Oodua, leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, which pushes for an independent, self-governing nation for Nigerians of Yoruba extraction. Good to have you, sir, on This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you for inviting me to come.
Thank you very much, Prof. Well, very quickly. When the incident on April 13 occurred, a group of persons led by Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola tried to take over the government secretariat in Ibadan, and they were overpowered eventually by state authorities. Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola having made a statement declaring the Democratic Republic of Nigeria, of Yoruba land, of Oodua, as a sovereign Nation. You reacted. You said, you were not aware of it and that these were careless people. Chief Sunday Igboho also reacted and said that these were just a bunch of insane people trying to do what they were not sent to do. However, Prof, I recall that you led the struggle for self-determination of the Yorubas. And now you condemn the splinter group called Ominira Yoruba. What is the difference between the bigger ideological movement that you lead and, the one led by Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola? Could it just be that the difference is just method? Isn't the idea the same?
Well, they are not the same. We started a movement for the liberation of the Yoruba Nation from Nigeria under existing laws of the international community. People don't seem to recognize that. There is a law, the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, permits every nation that wants to separate from the country that they belong to now to do so. But you have to do it peacefully. That's a provision. You cannot say because you want self-determination for your nation out of a country, you want to destabilize the country, you want to break down the peace of the country, you want to attack the laws of the country. No, that's not allowed. The movement that I lead is an intellectually sophisticated movement, disciplined, and no member, not a single person in the entire movement, and we are in the millions all over the world. We are in the millions. Not a single one of us will do what Mrs. Abiola did, what Onitiri did. Not a single one of us. She and her people were entirely on their own. They are not part of us and we are not part of them in any way. Our struggle for self-determination has been pursued peacefully. We started in 2019 and this is 2024. That's roughly 5 years now, slightly under 5 years. And we have no record of violence. In the year 2021, in the middle of 2021, we launched a number of rallies, public rallies. The first one was in Ibadan, and it was very large. About 1.2 million people were present in that rally. And we thought, we had done well. But then we moved to Abeokuta, and people in Abeokuta were much larger in number than the ones in Ibadan. And we went to Osogbo, and from there went to Akure, and went to Ado-Ekiti. In Ado-Ekiti, the crowd was the largest ever. About 3.1 million people clogged the streets of Ado-Ekiti for the whole day. And in all of these mammoth rallies, nobody misbehaved. Nobody behaved in an unruly or unlawful way. The police didn't have to caution anybody. The police did not arrest anybody. Nobody was wounded in any way. It was a happy rally.
Well, Prof.
Young people, educated young people clamoring for their own country separate from Nigeria. That's entirely lawful.
Well, Prof, there is a report.
Entirely under the law.
Prof, there is a report in the paper.
And so nobody was arrested. And nobody can be arrested in such circumstances.
Well, Prof, there's a story in the papers today.
That's who we are.
Well, Prof, there's a story in the papers today saying that you, as a leader of the Yoruba self-determination movement, you have now written to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say that Yorubas would like to break away from Nigeria through negotiations. Do you think that President Tinubu will allow his government to sit at a table with some Yoruba people saying they want to break away from Nigeria when Section 2 of the Constitution says that Nigeria is indissoluble and indivisible.
That's what that's what the Constitution of Nigeria says. But the law of Nigeria also, part of the law of Nigeria says that self-determination is a legitimate right.
Well,
because when the United Nations passed the declaration, Nigeria was a signatory to it. Nigeria brought the law, that declaration, to the National Assembly. The National Assembly approved it, and the President of Nigeria signed it. That made it part of the law of Nigeria. The same thing with the Africa Charter of human and people's rights.
But Prof, sir.
The President of Nigeria brought it to Nigeria, took it to the National Assembly. The National Assembly approved of it. Then the President signed it. That makes it a part of the law of Nigeria. And courts in Nigeria have made the statement that fighting for self-determination is not unlawful in Nigeria. So we are not doing anything unlawful.
But sir,
and we have no reason to want to stop it.
But sir, correct me if I'm wrong. The same Nigerian constitution says that even when we sign international covenants and conventions, it becomes law in Nigeria when it is domesticated. Now, you are an Awoist. You were part of the Awo movement and all of that. Awo, the late sage, wanted self-determination in the constitution, 1916, 1963. He never succeeded. And the Nigerian constitution does not allow anybody to say they want to break away from any part of Nigeria. So I don't know. I mean, you are the teacher of history.
The law, the laws of Nigeria allows individual Nigerians or groups of Nigerians to advocate for self-determination for their people. That cannot be contradicted. The laws of Nigeria allows peoples in Nigeria to advocate for the self-determination of their people.
Well, I'm just
that's the law.
Well, but
that's why when we went on rallies and so on, nobody could arrest any one of those boys and girls.
Well,
because they were acting entirely lawfully.
Okay, Prof.
No, listen, there is in this kind of situation after the folly and the criminal folly by Onitiri and the others, there is a natural reaction, and people are now saying that Nigeria are now saying things that are really not true about Nigeria. The laws of Nigeria allow Nigerians to fight for the self-determination of their people peacefully.
Well, I'll try and check.
And Yoruba people who are fighting peacefully for the self-determination of the Yoruba Nation from Nigeria are doing it absolutely lawfully.
But do you have any expectation that President Tinubu will sit down and negotiate for the Yorubas to leave Nigeria when he is himself a Yoruba man? That is the business of the president. He will do what he thinks is good for the country. We will do what we think is good for our own nation from Nigeria. And nobody is disputing the fact that we Yoruba are being destroyed in Nigeria. Last night, only this last night, crowds of young people called me from somewhere in Oyo State that Fulani people had invaded their village and had scattered the whole place. We cannot continue to live like that. If anybody thinks that a people like the Yoruba people will continue to live like that, you are deceiving yourself. You may pander to the Constitution. You may pander to the authorities of the land. But you cannot twist the truth out of existence. That's the thing. You cannot say you do not know that the Yoruba people are under pressure in Nigeria. You cannot say that Yoruba people are not being killed and killed in Nigeria. You cannot say that
a group of young men did an estimation of how many Yoruba people have been killed. They think it's up to about 29,000. You can put that way. So why are some people behaving as if you're pandering to the government and pandering to the government, to the authorities? Negates the rights of other people. It doesn't. Well, no matter how much you pander, you can't tell me, oh, is President Tinubu going to sit with us and so on. It's his duty to sit with us. That's his duty. Well, the law says so. Well, we write a letter to the president. It is his duty to answer us. And to, he can say no, what you are asking for, I won't grant it. But he has no right to, he has no duty to tell us, I will not answer your letter.
But sir,
he has a duty to answer our letter.
You raised these same issues under the Buhari administration. President Buhari did not just ignore. Yes. He went after Sunday Igboho and he showed that his government would not allow any kind of challenge from anybody, whether Yoruba or Igbo. Why would President Tinubu listen to you, even when you said you were not interested in the election?
The president can say that as much as they like, but the president cannot unilaterally change the law of the land. That's the truth. The president, it is the duty of the president to say, oh, this country, I will preserve its unity. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that does not negate the lawful right of the people of Yoruba land or whatever part of Nigeria to seek for their self-determination.
But Prof, there seems to be some confusion among the Yoruba elites.
We don't quarrel with the president for saying nobody should want to break up Nigeria. So it's fine. That's what the president is supposed to be saying. But we who know what is happening to our people, who think that the answer is to get out of Nigeria, we have a right to put it to the president and to put it to the world. That's all.
But there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
she has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan and so on. No. But we have never sent anybody to go and do that. And we do not support it or encourage it.
Prof,
and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
And so